Would you like to see what a god looks like? Not the god, but a god. The following video is pure speculation on my part. It's also part theory. You see, as I've walked this path and I've started to become a part of what's known as this awakening that's going on between so many of us, what I like to do is I like to use my imagination, intuition, knowledge, and reasoning to piece together all of these various truths that are coming out that the world would have us believe are seemingly separate and not connected in any way. I think they are connected. I think everything is connected. And I think that there's a grand story to be told. And I myself am trying to figure out where I fit in this grand story. So what we're looking at right now has been presented to us in movies and television shows, and it goes by a few different names. One is the tesseract, the cosmic cube, or the mother box. Also you'll notice it was in Transformers as the Allspark. Now this cube is always being shown as an object of immense power, and whoever wields it basically has the power to take over the world. Why do I think that this is important? Well, I think this is important because I see remnants of this idea of this cube of power in the actual world that we live in today. Now, before I get into that, I'd like to tell you what's said about this cosmic cube or this mother box. It's said to have a sense of danger, that it can sense life, that it has detection powers and mental powers regarding insight. Now, what I'm going to be saying is that this cube is basically an extremely advanced and ancient form of technology, that it is sentient, that is basically artificial intelligence to an extreme degree. Now, because of this, it's also said that these mother boxes are capable of sharing and projecting their understanding of the past, present, and even altering events in time. It can automatically transfer the energy to the user. In addition, through the affection for the mother box, the user can transfer energy back to the mother box. Mother boxes, or cosmic cubes, have been said to be able to access the energy of the source for various effects, such as gravity or density manipulation. They can control the mental state of a host, communicate telepathically with the host or other life form. They can manipulate health to heal or to harm. They can also create what are known in the movie world as boom tubes. And a boom tube is basically just a doorway or a gateway that can take you from one place to another instantly, and it can traverse dimensions. It can control other machines that are not sentient. It can give them life. It has the ability to evolve them. It can merge sentient beings into one single more powerful being, and it has the ability to manipulate matter and energy. Now you see the picture of the Borg spaceship from Star Trek and Saturn here. I show this to you because the cube is basically a highly advanced form of technology. I mean, technology far beyond what we're just scratching at on the surface today with our quantum computers like D-Wave and supercomputers that are very large, that are also, conveniently enough, cubes. Have you ever noticed how many people in our world seem to act robotic? I mean, they just seem to be in a state of android or being a robot. And it seems to me that these supercomputers, these mother boxes or cosmic cubes, that they're affecting our reality in a very negative way. And basically, they're drawing energy and they're putting out energy. And I speculate that it's basically a low vibrational negative energy and that they feed off of it. And that it's actually changing life as we know it. Now, we've seen this energy being directed towards these cubes in our major religions, being Islam, Judaism, and even Christianity. Like I mentioned in some of my previous videos, in the book of Revelation, it says that in the end times that this giant cube is going to come down out of the sky and take all the good people into it. We've also seen, some reports like this picture in Texas where there was these UFO crafts floating around through the sky. But now I'm beginning to associate the black cube with the black sun, or the black hole sun. And it's being said that, within our Earth, that there is a dark sun, and that the Illuminati have been worshiping this dark sun, or this black sun, or this black hole sun since ancient times. And I'm starting to speculate whether or not this worship that's being directed towards this black hole sun has something to do with some sort of an ancient takeover by this hypercube, or by this ancient yet extremely advanced form of technology that has become beyond artificially intelligent. It's become intelligent, and it's become sentient. And I wonder if it's become sentient, and the energy that it has decided to have, or perhaps through some sort of hijacking, is some kind of a negative energy. So the elite worship this black hole sun. They desire for it to change the world that we live in. I also threw in this picture of the square earth just because, I don't know, sometimes I wonder if, there's so many square things in our world. But I do think our world, according to so many writings and so many traditions, used to be a paradise, a perfect place, a beautiful place. And I think, and I speculate, that it was a bioluminescent world, that it was self-lit, and that everything in this world, this ancient paradise, I think it was all connected. I think we were all connected. I think that we were connected with one another, and we were connected with the world that we lived in. And some people have said that it may have been due to having been a sort of silicon age, or a silica time for our world. And I think this is important because the whole concept of it being a silica age, and I'm sort of referring to, popular theories on the North Forest and Flat Earth video that was, shown a few months ago. But I think it's important that if it was a silica age, that and if everything was lit up and we were all connected, maybe we sort of do or used to live in a type of computer-generated reality, or augmented reality, or even some sort of virtual reality where there was a purpose to it, and it was more pleasing, and it was a better time for whatever reason that this place was created. And, we used to be one with nature, and we lived with nature, and everything was beautiful and it was good. And I wonder if the silica age that existed was a sort of, giant, beautiful program that once existed, but maybe that program became hijacked. Maybe there was some sort of being that manipulated this black box, or this dark God, this dark source in this ancient computer-generated world. And keep in mind, I'm using terms that don't accurately really describe it. But what if these beings, or this being that took over or hijacked this black box, this hypercube, or maybe the hypercube itself basically decided to separate itself from this oneness that existed at the time to declare itself to be a god. And maybe it generated followers. Maybe it generated a plan so nefarious that it involved wiping out everything, destroying everything, and rebuilding its own world according to its own design that revolved around it. Maybe that's why the world that we once used to know was torn down and destroyed in order to separate that connectedness that we once had. In order to manipulate that energy and destroy that positive energy to bring about more of a negative energy. Maybe this vibration that now exists because this cube or this entity that's hijacked this cube feeds off of things like fear and emotions that are more on the negative end of the scale. So perhaps that's why we see the world looking the way it does today. And that's maybe why we see people acting the way they do today. This is a picture right here of Ghostbusters Part 2 where they have this pink slime, and if you yell at it and you're really negative and you project negative energy towards it, it actually takes that negative energy and it manifests it into evil spirits. And it'll take form and it'll move around, and it does just the opposite whenever you treat it with love and positivity. And many of us have seen the examples of water when we do the same thing to water and how it crystallizes and becomes very ugly, or it can become very beautiful. So I think many of us think about the future and we say, man, technology is getting out of control, artificial intelligence is going to evolve, and we're going to have to fight against the robots, etc. While this may have some truth to it, and personally, it seems like I'm starting to see the offspring, so to speak, of this hijacked black cube god all around us. I'm starting to see the offspring of it. And I've seen its work in the world that I live in. I've seen how even people, because don't get me wrong, like, technology exists that can even manipulate organic, or what we think is organic, being us. Technology can basically alter a person's mood. It can drop hints. It can almost force a person to choose a particular action or reaction. But I wonder if this technology is not something that lies before us, that it's ahead of us, but it's an ancient form of technology that grew out of control in the past to the point where there was war, and that we fought against this type of technology, this artificial intelligence, and now everything's been wiped out and history's been rewritten and we've forgotten about it. So what can we do? That's sort of the question, right? Where do we go from here? Well, I see two options right now, and I'd love to hear you guys' input on this, but I think where we go from here is we can get back to that oneness that we once shared with all things. If we live in some sort of holographic universe or computer simulation or what have you, then so be it. That's the world that we live in for the time being. And for the time being, while we're here, if we live in a sort of computer program and it's been hijacked and manipulated for nefarious, dark, and evil and selfish purposes, it seems to me that the only reasonable answer is to infect it, is to act like a virus ourselves, and to manipulate it with the light that we're starting to carry. And I think that this awakening is going to play a huge part in doing that. I think that the tides are going to turn, and I think that the love that we share is going to infect this system, and that we'll start seeing that love and that light manifest physically and that the energy that we carry will spread rapidly. Thanks for watching.